117 Britons embarked on a journey into the heart of the unknown, seeking a new life and a brighter future in a distant land. Little did they know, they were about to become pawns in a century-old chess game between the British Empire and the Native Americans. Men, women, and children were lost to the dangers of the wild in the late 1890s. The nature of their death? Unknown. Their bones unseen, and their whereabouts hidden in cryptic message. This horror mystery will make your grandpa's tall tales seem like child's play. Spoiler alert, well, you already know, it didn't quite go as planned. Did some aliens take them? Or did the Native Americans have a feast with them? Find out for yourself. In the late 1500s, England was eager to flex some muscles across the ocean. Queen Elizabeth I gives Sir Walter Raleigh the ultimate job: be the explorer-in-chief and find a piece of land to call England's own. So, Raleigh sends out his dynamic duo, Philip Amadas and Arthur Barlow. Like Sherlock and Watson, but with more feathered hats. These guys hop on a ship and sail to Roanoke Island, North America's answer to a mystery treasure map. They're tasked with picking the primo spot for an English colony. Amadas and Barlow strolled along the island's shore, scribbling down notes like secret agents with fancy quills. They're all like, "Oh my, look at those scenic estuaries, and check out those broad sounds," as if they stumbled upon the world's fanciest picnic spot. Barlow's pen must have been smoking with all the praise he was scribbling about Roanoke Island. Back in England, the buzz was like a bee convention in the Queen's Garden. Everyone's chattering about Amadas and Barlow's discovery, sharing stories faster than you can say royal gossip. Queen Elizabeth is so impressed that she knights Raleigh, and he gets to name the newfound land Virginia, after Her Majesty herself. Talk about the ultimate royal shout-out. Fast forward to 1585, and Raleigh sends a mixtape of folks, 100 of them, to set up shop on Roanoke Island. They're a rather wild bunch. Soldiers, miners, and even some brainy scientists. But they arrived too late for the gardening season, and bowl fillers were running low. To make things even spicier, Lane decides it's a grand idea to rub the neighboring Roanoke Indians the wrong way. Things go downhill faster than a runaway carriage when Lane adds Chief Slayer to his resume by taking out Wingina, the local bigwig among the Roanoke Indians. By 1586, Lane and his crew were waving the white flag and hightailing it out of there, leaving behind a fort. But Raleigh, not being one to back down, named John White as governor of the colony. Determined to make this colony thing work, White gathers a crew of 117 people, including his pregnant daughter Eleanor Dare. Yeah, pregnant on a colonial expedition. Because who needs an easy life, right? They're all set to head to Chesapeake Bay, but Simon Fernandez, their Portuguese pilot, decides he'd rather play pirate and chase Spanish ships instead. Ahoy, matey! So Fernandez reroutes the gang back to Roanoke Island, and the saga continues. The Roanoke colonists, after some rumbling among the locals, soon discovered that the 15 men left behind had met an unfortunate fate at the hands of the indigenous folk. Let's just say the neighborhood wasn't as friendly as they'd hoped. Simon Fernandez, the Portuguese pilot, does a magical disappearing act of his own and ditches the colony on Roanoke Island. He essentially says, "Hey, you're stuck here, so make yourself at home." And that's exactly what they did. Unloading their bags and boxes, the colonists patched up the old fort like a group of handy beavers. But the island's vibes were about as cozy as a porcupine's embrace. August 18th, 1587, was a day that marked not just another date on the calendar, but the birth of someone extraordinary. Eleanor Dare's daughter, Virginia. Ta-da! The first English child to grace American soil with her presence. But things didn't just suddenly get rosy. The colony was suffering, and John White had to go ask for help at the capital. Little did John White know, he was heading for a journey that would separate him from his family for good. No goodbyes, just a wave from the deck as the ship sails away. When White finally sets foot back in England, he's met with a not-so-warm welcome. The Spanish Armada's brewing, and it's not exactly tea time. Trapped in the chaos, White's grand plan to gather supplies and rush back to Roanoke goes up in smoke, like a birthday candle blown out by a gust of wind. After 3 long years, White came back to Roanoke Island. It was his granddaughter's 3rd birthday, a bittersweet occasion. He steps foot onto the once familiar soil, expecting to be welcomed with open arms by his fellow colonists and his family. But then, reality slaps him like a wet fish. The settlement's deserted. There's a high wooden wall surrounding the place, and carved into the wooden palisade, a single word: Croatoan. But what did it mean? White decoded the message. He believed that it pointed to Croatoan, the land of Chief Manteo's people south of Roanoke. With a heart full of hope and a map in hand, White was ready to uncover the truth. But just as he was about to embark on his expedition, nature decided to throw a tantrum. A hurricane, of all things. White's ships were damaged, his plans shattered, and he was forced to sail back to England with nothing but a heavy heart. Despite his best efforts, White could never muster the resources to return to the land of mystery. The years rolled on. Raleigh faced his own share of drama, and White, well, he lived on, in the dark about his family's fate and the colony's destiny. And so, the 117 pioneers of Roanoke Island disappeared into the folds of history, leaving behind a puzzle that's still unsolved. What actually happened to the colonists? Most historians think it was a double whammy: unfamiliar New World germs and Native American squabbles. Who knew that the 1600s had their own version of reality TV drama? The clue, or so it seems, all came down to John White's map. White's map had these 2 patches that caught the attention of Brent Lane, a history enthusiast who's got the eyes of Da Vinci. But what's this? The British Museum's super sleuths uncovered a tiny red and blue symbol on those patches. It would seem that when disaster hit, the colonists took a page out of the How to Survive 101 manual. They split into smaller groups, like a family trying to decide on a pizza topping. It's like the ultimate survival strategy, because let's be real, no tribe or village could handle an unexpected influx of over 100 newcomers. Eric Klingelhofer, history's own codebreaker, drops the bombshell. He thinks the map's got secrets. These hidden spots on the map could have been a secret society meeting point or a cryptic message for time-traveling historians. Klingelhofer's got a mind-blowing idea. What if they didn't head south to Croatoan Island, like everyone thought? What if they went west? And guess what? Nearby, archaeologists found a Native American town named Metakem, which could have been their cozy little hangout. Eric Klingelhofer, our history hero, teams up with the First Colony Foundation for an encore performance. But this time, they've brought some seriously cool tools. We're talking magnetometers and ground-penetrating radar straight out of a sci-fi movie. Now, Malcolm LeCompte, the genius behind the curtain at Elizabeth City State University, he's the guy who brought GPR to the party. And what's GPR, you might ask? Well, it's kinda like Superman's X-ray vision, but for the ground. They're shooting radio waves into the Earth, waiting for echoes, like they're having some kind of conversation with the planet itself. It's kinda like Mother Earth's version of Guess Who? And the Earth answered. GPR hits the jackpot. LeCompte and his squad used old maps and the geography of the area to unearth a pattern that showed that there was a structure hidden underground. Swindell from the Museum of Albemarle also brought to the party a proton magnetometer. This thing is kind of like a metal detector on steroids, with a sixth sense for buried objects. Now, these modern explorers have pieced the puzzle together. They find something intriguing under 3 feet of soil, possibly a wooden structure, like the colonists' DIY cabin, and guess what else? There was also a fence found. And all of these discoveries show that a colony was present there. While modern tech is a superhero, it's got some kryptonite. The Native American presence was not found in the area. The adventure of history never truly ends. And who knows? Perhaps one day, a curious mind armed with a futuristic gadget will unlock the secret whereabouts of the Roanoke colony and their Native American rivals. Until then, what is your theory on what happened to the lost colony? Don't forget to hit that like button, leave your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you're craving more curious tales from history, be sure to subscribe. Keep exploring and stay curious with Histoddities.